In this video, I'm going to show you 5 Premiere Pro life hacks that every video editor should know inside the software. Let's dive in. The first tip I'm going to go over is, let's say if you have a B-roll sequence, you have one clip, but you have several different shots in it. If you want to automatically make a cut to separate all these different clips, you can do that using this pretty cool feature inside Premiere Pro. Right-click on your clip in the timeline and then go to Scene Edit Detection. Then make sure that the checkbox is turned on next to Apply a Cut at each detected cut point. When you click Analyze, Premiere Pro will automatically make a cut at each detected cut point, which can be very helpful in cases where you have a clip that has a lot of cuts in it. You want to make auto cuts automatically. So as you can see, if we go through here using my up and down arrows, you can see that Premiere Pro automatically made a cut at each cut point for each individual clip. Now, the next one I've been using quite a bit lately for my podcast. Let's say if you have an asset that you use over and over again, such as a logo, and I want to place this logo in the same exact position as like my previous podcasts. So I want to place this in the top left corner, but I want it to be exact. You can try to guess, try to use the controls manually, get it over into the general area, but I want it to match all my other podcast episodes. What you can do is have 2 projects open at the same time in Premiere Pro and copy and paste the assets or the attributes from the other project into this project. So for example, in my Finder, I'm going to open a previous Premiere Pro project from a previous podcast episode. Now you can open more than one project at a time. So as you can see in Premiere Pro, I have this podcast episode open. But if I double click on this Premiere Pro project, you can see that now this project is open as well. You can see that the sequences of both projects are opened at the same time. So if I go over to this sequence, you can see I'm in this podcast episode. And when I'm over here, I'm in this podcast episode. So if I go to the old podcast episode, what I can do is click on this logo. I can go up to Edit, Copy, and then go back to my other project or the sequence in the other project, and then click on my logo, and then go to Edit, Paste Attributes. I'm going to check on the motion property and then click OK. As you can see, it places my logo in this exact same spot that my logo is in the previous episode. Now this next one I use quite often inside Premiere Pro. Let's say if you need to make a logo white. You have a logo, maybe it's black, it's colored, but you just want to make it white to add it into your video. You don't need to go to Photoshop to do this. So inside Premiere Pro here, I have my logo and it's kind of hard to see. I added my logo into the bottom right-hand side of the video here, and I want to make it white instead of black. And a quick way that you can do this inside Premiere Pro is click on your logo and go over to the color workspace by clicking on the workspaces button and then go into color. Then what you can do is go into the curves tab. So underneath the curves tab, click and drag up the black line, so the bottom left line, and just make it all the way up to the top left. And as you can see, it makes anything and everything white. This is a quick, easy fix. You can also do exposure, but it might not do it all the way. That's why I recommend going into the curves to do this. For example, if we turn this off and we go to exposure and we just see it doesn't do anything because it's black. So that's a quick way to make anything white inside Premiere Pro. Have you ever added clips to your timeline needing to scale it down because it's too big? Well, you can have Premiere Pro automatically do this for you. For example, when I click and drag this clip into my timeline, you'll notice that it's scaled in all the way. And I always have to readjust the scale to 50 and zoom out quite a bit to get it to the exact correct size. But inside Premiere Pro, what you can do is go up to Premiere Pro Settings, Media. And then next to default media scaling, you can change it to either scale to frame size or fit to frame. I prefer fit to frame, and with this selected, once we click OK, let's say if I delete that clip and add it back to the timeline here, you can see that automatically scales it down to fit inside the frame. Now you might have to go in and adjust it if it's in a different aspect ratio, but at least this gets you into a good starting place. Now let's say if you can't find that clip, you can use this new feature inside Premiere Pro to find pretty much any type of asset that you imported in your project. Inside the latest version of Premiere Pro, you'll notice this new button at the top right called Search Panel. When you click on it, a new panel will appear where you can search anything in your project. So for example, if I wanted to find that clip of the person going through their social media, I can just search social media and you'll notice that things relating to social media will appear. So it will show that person scrolling through social media. And if you notice, based on the clip name, it doesn't say social media inside of it. It just says smartphone scrolling. So Premiere Pro is using AI technology to understand what this content is, such as social media, and applying it to the media that you import in your project. So your media doesn't necessarily necessarily need to be labeled social media or the key search terms. For example, this podcast animation is popping up because it has social media icons underneath the logo. So this is a very helpful way to search for content inside your project. Now that's just one of the new features inside Premiere Pro. If you want to take a look at all of the new features inside the latest version, I did make a video going over all of them. I will leave that video right up there if you do want to check that out. But that does it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.